Get me out of there.
Next one.
Evening.
Chairperson.
Right, okay. Okay, so welcome to the meeting, 4th March today. Have we got any public tonight? No, thank you. But also apologies, councillors. That is from Councillor Collins. Okay. Are we happy to accept Councillor Collins? Right, declarations of interest. Anybody for tonight? Okay, let's do it. Help us.
Oh, sorry, you're waiting. Sitting as vice speaker, and vice president of the body of collection, but not directly involved this year as such. And also the Buckingham Festival.
Okay, thank you.
So I chair the Citizens of Ice and yeah, that's it. Buckingham Summer Festival, yes.
Buckingham Pantomime when it comes to the grants.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're not.
I'm not a committee member, but I've been a very, very long-standing
Yeah.
associate with it. So,
Okay, so you just won't discuss it and went on it.
well, actually, I've decided not to discuss any of them because they're all interlinked. If you know, you can give more to one and less to the other. So I've decided not to discuss any of them.
Okay, all right, yeah, sure, thank you. Anything else? Right, anything else? Okay, so I am currently, for the time being, still a paid member of staff for youth clubs. So I'll be discussing anything to do with like the youth centre. Okay. Next, item 3 minutes of the last meeting. We're happy to agree those.
Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, 4 minutes. So 4.1. Appendix A. If members are happy, we'll go by number of the page 4 of 75, which is in the left-hand top corner.
Can I just point out, Chair?
Yeah.
Haven't noticed, we have attempted to group them by income and expenditure to have make that a little bit clearer.
Oh,
So any feedback would be gratefully received.
that's really helpful.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to take the opportunity. It is so much clearer. House points all round.
I'll pass it on to Jodie, who did all the work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Moving on team.
Thanks, Anthony. Okay, so page 475, has anybody got anything on this? Okay, page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. I'm going to fast, tell me. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. What's that, page 12?
Yeah, just to say, I mean, the reason we're probably not making any comments is only just done the precept and most of these speakers were already seen and gone through the law, but anyway, whether we're not questioning anything, but just gone through precept and most of these speakers have gone through the nth degree by committee. So it's not that we're not interested in budget, we've all done the questions on the board, but we're saying that anyone is going to be very interested in the money, but we are.
Okay. So then it's the, sorry, page 11. Page 12. Appendix A, on top of that. Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Not bad. Now, we're going to appendix B, rather just to move straight to that. There's to page 13. Page 14. Page 15. John?
It's loosely related, but it allows me to ask a question. The stall at the food fair that I ran with other people, obviously, over the course of the whole food fair, which eating place came top, second, and third? Do we happen to know that? No.
I don't know yet, I'm actually sorry, I wouldn't.
Okay.
I'm searching.
All right. It's not critical.
Do you know? Yes, I do actually. The wrong one.
If you don't, that's fine. I don't- All right, we'll hear about it in
It's
Tuesday.
fine.
We probably released the information.
I don't think we have publicly put it out there because the mayor goes around and presents. the-
Is that what you?
That's what I'm doing on Wednesday, yes. Okay, so
Maybe
leave
after
it
Wednesday.
Yeah, sure, it was just a whimsical question, it's always not, it's not really.
That's good to ask. Okay, page 16. Page 17.
That's it, page 16, it's nice to see the fine paints and pens for the children, which is part of the project that we've been doing, which has been really successful, where youngsters come down and we can laugh and look at the pancake break. You know, because when we finish those events, or we do those events, they're very, very well attended. Parents turn out from huge degrees, so nice to see we're actually run out of painting, and we're having to buy some more, which shows how popular they are, doesn't it?
Right, so, now item 5, fund transfers. Did you want to say anything on this?
I just moved some money from the fine trust account to our current account, because we were getting rid of the flow. That's all really.
Thank you. Anybody?
No.
Item 6, quarterly banking reconciliations. Thank you, Howard, for reviewing and signing those. Thank you. Anybody on that one? Okay, item 7, annual community grants. So we've got 7.1, we've got a report from Louise. Let me just bring that down to the page.
We have a recommendation.
Yeah, so on the report, page 18 of 75, we've got Louise's report, and then you've got recommendations there. And as U Clubs is one of them, Howard, would you mind stepping in and taking this item, please? Thank you.
Buckingham Summer Festival is also.
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I'm not involved in any of these.
Okay, Mayor, would you mind taking this item for us, please?
So we have a recommendation that payment to the following 4-year grants recipients are authorised in line with their 4-year grant award agreements for 2022 to 26. So we decided in 2022 to make these. So therefore, it's probably an issue that doesn't require extensive debate. So unless, yeah, Robin.
Happy to read the recommendation, just at some point, it'd be useful to have an update on the operations of the CAB and how that's working now in the sense, but I don't think we need to discuss that tonight. It'd be nice to have a separate brief how it's changing, what it's doing and what it delivers, because it is a change in fees, and I don't think it's nothing to do with the money, it's more to do with the actual.
Very happy to do that.
Yeah.
Get that done, Robin. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's okay, but happy to agree the recommendation.
Yeah, I'll second that. Thank you.
Okay, Ali?
Yeah, I've got no concerns about the recommendation, but I would like to know what the status is. I can see that we sent from 2022, 2023, people have helped us a lot, understood what's the current state of the affairs is a report. Once it's not accompanied, the document is not accompanied with that report, and so what they're doing. Do we based on our grants, do we require an annual report from them? That's something we should consider.
Yes, Louise.
So they are required to send in an annual report, and those annual reports go to the annual town meeting, which is in April this year. And no one's grant payments are made until, so the deadline to submit that annual report is the end of March. Annual town meeting is in April, and no grant award payments are made until May. So there is a period where we can check that they have been following the procedures that they're meant to, that if we want to ask for additional financial information, we can ask for it, and that they have sent a report that states clearly that they're fulfilling their grant objectives.
I think going forward, it'd be helpful if we put in this report, we could also get a verification and certification from an officer saying that they've gone through the procedures and everything in compliance with.
I think often what we have done is done a follow up to the next resources, which confirms that all of the reports were received.
Not the reports now, because we've been asked now to part this. That's a recommendation. It would be helpful if we could also get confirmation from one of the officers that everything has been in line with and they're recommended.
So I can't do that yet because we're making the decision in March, and they've got until the end of March to submit their
So
report.
it's too early then.
Yes, it's too early, which is why if you read sort of a little bit further down.
What I'm saying is, so it's a recommendation too early.
And I just, this is the grants meeting, and this is the meeting at which we've always confirmed what the grants payments are going to be. So that's why it's on this. But obviously, Louise will do the due diligence and make sure we have the appropriate before anything gets paid out.
Yeah, so not so much the payment, because the payment has been approved, we've got a 4-year grant, that's fine. But I guess the reason why it's put down to yearly is so that we can follow up and check and ensure it's being done to. So I thought, before this recommendation is being made, we should have a paragraph here certifying that the officer who is responsible for this has looked through it and then recommended it, but that's not here at all.
It's because she hasn't had the paperwork until the end of March. Yeah, but
It's on this item,
it's,
Hang on,
I mean, is it,
let the town clerk finish and then you can come in. Is that okay?
all I was going to say is, I do take on board your point, maybe we need to look at, when we review the 4-year grants procedure, the timings that we have set on Louise's report is just based around the timings and the policy that we have. But you do raise a valid point, so maybe that's something that when we do review, we look at maybe changing the timings and see if we can make that more logical. I presume we do it that way because it's the end of their financial year, so that they can then tell us, and we do it because it's the end of our financial year. And obviously we have to do it when the resources meeting fits within the rest of the calendar. So, yeah, I see your point.
Robin?
just to say that when we did some major changes on grants. One of them was that we would not agree the grants at the precept meeting because it seemed very strange to agree the grants at a precept meeting before we knew what the precept was. So then we moved them to do this. This procedure was gone through, discussed, voted on, and that was the procedure that we put in place. And that was what we accepted at that point. Now, it seems wrong to question this procedure today because the time to question that procedure would have been earlier in the year. But there is no procedure is wrote down for ever, and never been changes. But, we have a proposal in the second, to agree these recommendations and suggest we move to the vote. After Councillor Harvey's spoken.
Can you let Annie chair, please?
Well, I can move to the vote, it's in standing orders.
You call in John to speak, so I can let Annie chair, please.
Yeah, John, please.
Well, why don't we just put in to the recommendation an amendment saying the payment of the programs are authorised subject to procedure being followed.
I'll go with
Will
that.
I go with that?
Yeah.
And just put that in, then that addresses Ali's point, and we can rely on officers to not give any money away unless they've submitted. I'm sure we can rely on.
It's a good point that Annie's made, so yeah.
So just insert after authorised, subject to correct process.
That's very
So that's
sensible.
my proposal.
Yeah.
Second that.
Yeah,
Second.
I think Ryan's hand was up first. So all those in favour of the amendment? That's unanimous. And I believe we can now move to the vote on the recommendation, which has been proposed by Robin and seconded by Andy. And so all those in favour, please. And that is unanimous, except for those people who are, who have declared an interest. So we've got 4 abstentions.
They are interested, but they can't vote.
Yeah. Exactly, they have declared an interest.
Okay.
Chair, you can have the chair back.
Chair. Right, 7.2, we've got another personal leave to receive and discuss. And the one we have grants, so we've got the report and then appendix C. So I'll do Howard first and then John.
Interest in some community out.
Okay, thank you. John?
Well, again, this process is now much more slick than it ever used to be. When we used to pass around wads of paper between the various councillors. And now we just do it electronically, and indeed more than that, Louise goes through all the reports and produces, I think it's that goes through all the kind of submissions and pulls out a rather neat summary that I think is eminently sensible, so I propose that we accept the recommendation.
Okay, so you don't want to discuss any of the grants?
I don't see I personally don't see the need to, because it all makes sense.
All right, thank you. So I'll take Robin and then
I'm happy
Anthony.
to second that, just that at a later meeting, it'd be useful, perhaps in confidential, to have a discussion about any grants that come in and why they didn't, so we understand the mechanism. That isn't criticising. I think we can be confident that officers have gone through this, whatever, as Councillor Harvey rightly says, it's a lot more efficient than it used to be. And when you had to pass the file around by Wednesday, if you didn't get it on Wednesday, it meant you didn't get it, and then it went to the next person, and it was quite nervous and tardy. And somebody sat on it for 3 days and personally really wanted to read it, didn't get to read it. They hadn't got around to reading it. So I think it's a lot tidier, and I'm happy to second that we agree these and propose we move to the vote.
Okay, Anthony, Addy and then Martin.
Thank you, Chair. I absolutely agree this is fine. The only one I would slightly raise a question over is Jedediah, because they are subtly different from something, and bless them, the Angling Club and the Bowls Club. Here they're feeding children. We're in the world of difficulty in such areas, and I do just wonder if we could make an exception on that one and pay the full amount requested.
Okay. All right, is that a proposal?
It is a proposal.
Do we have a seconder for that?
Chair, can I just say,
Yes, of course.
we only have that limited amount of money, so if we
Exactly.
pay that, we need to work out who's. where it's coming from.
Is this going to be Peter?
So I would
Yeah.
politely ask that the proposal clarifies where it comes from.
Yeah, but how to then go through the grants?
Can I just add something very briefly to
Of
this?
course.
Precisely, those, Jedediah are also one of the mayor's charities. The mayor's charities have so far collected quite a tidy sum, so I think they will be in receipt of more money.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good to know, thank you.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll withdraw the
Okay,
proposal.
thank you very much, Anthony. Addy and then Martin.
So, thank you very much, Chair. I just want ask, because I went through the list.
Can you just speak a little louder, sorry?
That's what's fine. I was going to ask, I went through the list and I noticed that, there was one I saw that was for a speaker event. Trying to think of which one it was again. But I was just wondering why some of them got 100%, whilst others didn't get 100%. So what was the metrics used to ascertain who gets all they want and who doesn't get who doesn't get all they want? You know, on what basis was recommendation made? It would be helpful if we get someone explain to us. So I know that it's been very considered.
Oh, yeah, Louise, would like to come in?
So within our grant policy, we have a specification that says where there's more demand for 1 year grants than funding available, which is the case this year, we had about £12,000 worth of grant applications and only £9,315 that we could get. New applicants will be given priority over those who've received funding in the last 4 years. So we have 3 applicants who haven't applied in the last 4 years. So they were prioritised to get a 100% grant. And then the rest of the funding that was available was split on a percentage basis. So they all got exactly 80.8% of what they had asked for in order to give them all something, but a lesser amount because unfortunately we didn't fully fund them all.
That is a good metric to use, actually, it's.
I'm just coming on that. The reason why I asked that question was I noticed that chronic pain support got 500 for their guest speaker fees. Which is all the marketing fee. All the charities who were doing things that, in my opinion, may have required more funding, didn't get it. So paying 100% for guest speaker fees, you know, I don't know, my priorities, you know, is subjective. But I think that's the one that I was wondering why, you know, we're paying so much for guest speaker fees, whilst all the charities that could actually impact more people, as opposed to be one, as opposed to, you know, a speaker, we're getting less. So I know this question they asked, but you know, that's my observation there. That why are they getting so much for their guest speaker, whilst others are not getting what they require?
It probably comes down to what Louise just explained as to who got what amount and why.
Yes, but if you're asking for the first time, doesn't mean you should then get 100%, just because you're asking for the first time. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Our policy.
That's what we agreed with our policy, that's how we're going to move forward, so that.
Yes, but what I'm trying to explain, maybe when you say that's a policy, so if I come in asking for £10,000 and it's my first time asked, would I get £10,000? No, I wouldn't get £10,000.
Yeah.
So the reason why the 500 is seen to be, that's the policy, is because the amount that's said to be there, which I don't think is still 100%. So if we're saying that's a policy, any charity that approaches us for any amount will then get all they want because that's a policy. I don't think that's the right policy. We need to look at that policy.
As long as it complies with the policy, if the group or the committee wants to make a judgment and say, actually, we think this particular project is more important
saying is it'd be nice if we get to the society where it's.
Yeah. And also when you said about people with pain having a normal life, what's normal? It's having the best life you can have with pain. So, right, I've got John and then Matt.
I think Annie raises the point though, that if one organisation put in a grant application for more money than rightfully allocated in the in the precept amount, then what will be the implications of that? So I think it's worthwhile reviewing the policy.
Certainly.
That's a fair point, but obviously I don't think doing it now would be a good idea. But I think it's something that's worth looking at and come back with some ideas. So,
Yeah.
I mean, perhaps we just ask for a paper, maybe just have a refresh our understanding of the policy and see if the officers want to propose any changes based on this discussion, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could put it on next agenda.
Can do it
to
for the
discuss.
next agenda.
Yeah.
We've got a grants review scheduled in the calendar.
We will have a review of the annual around about summertime.
Okay.
Well, that's good enough then, isn't it?
That'll be in time before we open up the new, for the new round of applications.
Yeah, because we've spoken about it outside of meeting, haven't we? Some of the ideas that have come from the investigation that Louise had done, and we were gonna discuss it then with the meeting, yeah.
I mean, sorry, Chair, if I interrupt. This is the first 4 years that we've had this policy. We need to give it a good run through and find out the pros and cons for it. As members have said, it is been a lot simpler and a lot easier in the past. But this meeting is the meeting that awards. So all Louise is doing is following through the policy as set by members and making recommendations based on criteria that have been laid down. This is the meeting that decides it is your decision. If you do want to take something off or add something on, we have the ability to do that. This is not us dictating what you should do. This is just us saying the policies have been gone through, they've all been assessed, all the paperwork has been sent to you, it's all in the confidential folder. And please, take your time and make your decision.
And that's why I've said like 2 or 3 times that we are to discuss this. It's, I know that we've got a motion on the table, but it is important if somebody thinks that one should have a little bit more than another. It's the right place to discuss it. So I've got the mayor, and then I'm going to go to the vote because I think we've had enough chat on this.
I was going to propose that we go to the vote.
Okay, Ryan, did you?
I'll second that.
Okay. Right, so let me go back up.
And you agree.
Okay, so, we have a hands up for the 1 year grants to be awarded to everybody that's on the report. No, not Martin.
Very interesting.
Yes. Okay, so that's, those abstaining. Yeah, and there's no. Thank you, everybody. And Louise, I think a big thank you for your hard work. It is appreciated. I know by everybody on here because it has been very trying previous years. So
Yeah,
thank you very, very much.
huge amount of work in there.
Yeah, that's me.
Did you abstain, Chair? I didn't quite catch.
You published it on the.
So you were for, so,
Yes.
so it's 2 abstentions, for
Yeah.
my apologies.
That's all right.
What extension?
You can see from where I was.
Okay, item 8, annual reviews. So we've got 8.1 to receive a report from the town clerk. And that is D and E goes along with that, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully I've not made it more complicated than it needs to be. We do our financial regulations quite regularly. We last made an amendment to them back in December. But in order just to keep our cycle of documents correct, I would ask you to agree to recommend the unchanged financial regulations to full council. Fairly straightforward. One, there are no amendments made, it is as set. But what should be recommending is the new model financial regulations, which is a project that NELC, SLCC and various other interested parties are looking at new model financial regulations. They are in dire need of updating. And we're expecting them out in the next month or two, at which point I think we probably will have a whole new model regulations and do a full review of the financial, of our financial regulations and how we can make them work for us. So at the moment, all we're asking is just the recommendation of the unchanged ones from council, and the advisor noted that we would be expecting to do a full review when the new model ones come out. I think that makes sense.
It does.
And then the risk assessment, we have to review our risk assessment on an annual basis. The changes at the moment are pretty much, there's a few spelling and grammar ones that I haven't highlighted, but the changes are mostly to reflect the changes that have been agreed by this committee and throughout the year. Again, there will be a full review, because if we have new financial regulations, then we'll need to redo the entire risk assessment. We have noted the changes. So in section 3, I've noticed the changes to the risk assessment, and the full document is obviously published there as well for you to have a flick through. There isn't anything that is, in my opinion, in any way particularly weird or wonderful. It's very straightforward on things that have already been agreed. But yeah, there will be potentially quite a big piece of work on this, I expect, around about then.
Yeah. Okay, Robin?
I'm happy to propose that we agree, the first point that we agree with, also comment on the fact that it's nice to see since the town clerk and officers have introduced the risk assessment, that there isn't anything in the great risk area of the risk assessment. And it shows that we haven't got any great burdening financial risk, which is good. But I think it makes sense to, as the town clerk says, to review the stuff when we have a change in regulations, and so all three things make absolute sense. So I'm happy to propose the first one, that we agree that it's unchanged.
Okay, we have a seconder for that, John?
Yeah, I would say both recommendations, I second both.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, I'll say both. Okay, so let me just go back to the chart. So are we happy to so we're gonna send this off to full council, aren't we? Yeah. So those in favour, you show that is unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay, so 8.2, the investment strategy.
Again, this is another one that needs to be annually reviewed. It's been working pretty well this year. It's a fairly safe, sorry,
Sorry, I've got you, John.
Yeah, it's at the moment, it's a fairly safe and I think pretty productive investment strategy. We're not looking to make any amendments or changes.
Okay, John, then Robin.
I've already been wrong to it, just to say, agree with the recommendations, propose that we accept both of them together.
Okay,
I'll second
Robin
that.
second that. So those in favour, please show. Yeah, it's unanimous. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Claire. Okay, so we've got 8.3 media policy.
Again, due for its annual renewal, we are not recommending any changes.
Any discussion on this? No, Mayor?
I propose that we accept the recommendation.
Thank you very much.
Beat somebody to it.
Ryan?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Two phases, that's it. Right, those in favour of agreeing to adopt media policy is unanimous. Thank you, everybody. So item 9, we've got the report from Steve, the internal control view. I know she's got a report back for us. So has anybody got anything to say on this? Robin?
Not for tonight, but I think it would, happy to agree with the report, but at some point, officers choosing when it's appropriate, it might be worth bringing, the objectives, 3.1 back to refresh ourselves on the objectives of the exercise, to make sure we're fully agree with where it is, and that is the point then to discuss whether we need to change it, but not tonight, because I do think what our objectives are, so that the councils may wish to vary, at some point, and I think that's the most, but not tonight, but I think at some point we need to sort of talk. At some point to come back with that at a later meeting. Anything else, because we may change our objectives as a council depending on whatever's going on. And that's a reasonable decision for councillors to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not, I'm sorry, I think a page has been left off there. I will be entirely honest and put my hands up, there was something missing that you.
I thought
Like page one.
about that.
Page 1 of 1. Oh, page 1 of 1.
No, there's a supporting document, I think it's gone wrong there. My sincere apologies, we do need to do it this financial year, we would be happy for it to go on the agenda for full council, it needs full council to agree it anyway. The full
Yeah,
council
do
to
that.
go to
Yeah.
the
Yeah, do
council.
that.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But
Okay, is that right in there? Yeah.
I was suggesting that it's reasonable in the future that we come back and discuss the section on objectives at another meeting. I don't think that's for tonight. I think that's really just tardy.
We're going to take full council.
It's the internal controls objectives and they actually have been listed for you to be able to see them.
So
This is
covered.
purely about financial internal controls,
Yeah.
not our strategic council
In which
objectives.
case my worries will be answered at full council.
I sincerely apologise.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so item 10, business rates update, so we've got a report of LNC.
I will just introduce if you want.
Go for it.
So there are two items of note for business rates. The first one is something that was on the action list because it's been raised as to why our cemetery rates has gone over budget. As Steve has noted, there was a national level reevaluation which took place after we had budgeted, and that has pushed our budget over. So there has been an overspend of roughly £1,000 there. However, on the other hand, Steve has been busy and has identified Lace Hill is eligible for the retail hospitality and leisure relief scheme for this year, which is a 75% reduction. So we have made an application for a rebate of £7,765, which is some
Nice arithmetic there.
Okay.
So thanks to Steve for pointing that out.
Suppose we record our thanks.
Yeah.
That's a portion of the salary.
Can you have a look at everybody's finances?
I think I might be able to.
Have a look at all of our. You can do that. Find some money where we need.
Yeah.
I tried to think
You
of
can't
the next
obviously,
6
but
months.
it shows the value of Steve, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
Really does.
Yeah.
Budget tomorrow.
Okay, right, so, item 11, updates from representatives and outside bodies. Would anybody like to speak on this item?
Just to say that Buckingham Council, really its precepts, which is relevant with its money. They did have the option to take a £1.5 million income, which would have been an amendment put to the budget, which would have generated £1.5 million from properties which are empty properties. That was not taken up by the controlling group, and the result of the fact that the money which was in that amendment would have meant that some of the cuts and savings within the council's budgets will now go ahead because they'd agreed the recommendation to the amendment, which is a public record, and the vote was recorded and it's a public record. But it's a shame. That's just on finance. Some of those things members can go look at the minutes. They might be things that you were interested in, the fact that the money should have gone back to those, but it was missed. So that's where we are. So it had to be done. That amendment had to be placed at the time it was, because that's the only time you can amend the budget is at the council budget, not at any other preceding meetings.
Okay, that's the ins and outs of how they operate.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No, but you have to say, finish what I was saying, is because you had to do it at that meeting to bring it in 2025. So now we've missed the opportunity. It doesn't stop the council discussing it at a future date to bring it in 2026 if they change their mind.
When you say the council, you're that Buckinghamshire Council, not.
Yeah, it would have raised money for community boards and put some more money back into community boards, but I think everyone around here is probably interested in that.
Thank you for that update. Anybody else? No. Okay. Sorry.
Save it for full council.
Yeah, you're fortunate. Absolutely. Okay, item 12, act reports. Anybody want to speak on the actual report?
No.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any announcements. And the date of the next meeting is Monday, 29th of April. And I would like to ask members if we can take in our next meeting into the private session.
Agree.
Agreed. Thank you. For YouTube.
You should kill it.
Then